do you feel about that, seeing Christians transmorgifying, for lack of a better word?
Yeah, to me it seems like that's the future. I don't know if just the mainstream cultural Christianity is going to last much longer, but I think those that really believe, they really want a connection and a relationship with God. So there's a blueprint in the Hebrew Bible of when we are to celebrate, how we're to live our lives, what we're to eat, what we're not to eat. There's a biblical way of life of walking with him in everyday life. And so the more the people want to draw close to him in a real way, I think people will start living more biblically. And they'll look a little bit more, Jewish, because that's the way the Jews have been living for thousands of years. So I think the future for real believing Christians may be to live a little bit more biblically. And instead of kind of celebrating the Christian, cultural holidays, they'll start celebrating more biblical holidays. And if you ask any Christian, you say, well, do you believe in the 10 Commandments? They'll be like, absolutely, I love the 10 Commandments. The 10 Commandments are the foundation of society. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, adultery, family values, honor your mother and father. And then you say, well, what about number 4? Guard the Sabbath and keep it holy. And then sometimes that'll say, well, that one was done away with. I was like, well, it's the 10 Commandments. You choose 9 out of the 10? And so that's kind of a wake-up call. So then there are a ton of people now all over the world. I was just lecturing in Norway, Holland, and Germany. And you wouldn't believe it, but there are non-Jews there that said, well, the 10 Commandments say to make Shabbat holy, to make it special, to sanctify it. And so they just start practicing it in their own way. And so it's like a grassroots movement that's happening all over the world. It's happening in Roswell, New Mexico. It's happening here in Odessa. And, it's happening in Norway and Germany and Holland. And so it seems as that's the remnant that are being called out to really live in relationship with God. It's he's told us what he wants us to do. It's right there, black on white, how we're meant to live.
I think what's amazing about that, Jeremy, is it's always been there in black and white. But it's just really now in the last 10, 15 years that the church has begun to a little bit get a hold of this. Yeah. And the attitude towards Israel and the Jewish people has been changing.
Well, to me, it seems like it's a direct response from the establishment of the state of Israel. Meaning, as long as the Jews were in exile and we were like a weak, dispersed people, persecuted by Muslims and persecuted by Catholic crusaders and inquisitions, it looked like we were replaced. Like God had sort of rejected us and thrown us to the nations. And so that was somewhat logical if you just looked at the reality of the world. But, the Torah says that we would be dispersed, persecuted, exiled, but then we would be ingathered. And so was it a spiritual ingathering? Was the nation a spiritual nation? Were the blessings transferred to a new people? And they saw, oh my goodness, all of the promises of the Bible, they're not just spiritualized, they're really manifesting right now in the land of Israel. So what does that mean? That means the Jews weren't replaced. Well, does that mean that the Hebrew Bible wasn't replaced either? Maybe. The Hebrew Bible is just as relevant as it always was. And it's not that Hashem's will has changed one way or the other. The seventh day is the only thing in creation that God sanctified and blessed. All the other things, he said, this is good, this is very good. The seventh day, in the fabric of creation itself, God sanctified, made it holy. The seventh day, it's right there. So that didn't change. The seventh day will always be a special day for God, a special day in creation, a holy day. And so now, sort of the Jewish people's return to Israel set off lights in people's heads, saying, well, what does that mean? I was told that the Jews were replaced. I told that the Hebrew Bible was the Old Testament, old and irrelevant. Who wants the old? I want the new. And now they're realizing that the Hebrew Bible is the foundation of the world, and that really God's will hasn't changed at all. And so why celebrate, these other man-made holidays when you could celebrate God's feasts? They're right there.
If you enjoyed this clip, please feel free to check out the full version in the link located in the description panel below. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel. You can also connect with us on Facebook and Twitter. As always, help yourself to the diverse array of teachings located on this YouTube channel or on our website at glc.us.com.